I don't know about you, but I've noticed in the last probably 5 to 10 years that our business environment has become far more complex than it's ever been. And I've stolen this acronym from the US military. It's called VUCA, and it stands for a description of the environment in Afghanistan and in Iraq, and they talk about being volatile, so it's highly changeable. It's uncertain, so we're not clear where we're going. It's complex, and I don't know about you, but I'm finding business just has so many facets, more facets than it's ever had. And lastly, it's ambiguous, so the messages we're getting are not clear anymore. And when I think about my clients and where we're going, that's certainly one of the key issues. And then if you combine that with what I'm seeing is the rapid pace of change, so we get an enormous change happening at a very rapid pace. So I call it V squared, you know. Volatility and velocity really sort of starting to drive things. And what that means is that our managers and our leaders in our business, we need to have different skill sets to what we used to have. So I'm finding that we now need more, our people need to be far more adaptable, and those skill sets need to be around planning, problem solving, decision making, working with people, all those sort of skills that we haven't really focused on in the past. We've been rather technically driven. I've identified sort of 5 key trends that I think are going to be important for horticulture moving forward. And I won't go through in a lot of detail, but the first of those trends, these aren't the only trends by the way, they're just 5 I think are going to be pretty important. Robotics, it's coming whether you like it or not. And they're going to be small, powerful, economical, and they're going to fundamentally change our business. Moore's Law is happening with robotics as we speak. Data, we're going to get more and more data. A lot more information than you've ever had. The trick is going to be, how do you pull real insights out of that data that are going to help you make better decisions in your business? Yeah? Because there's going to be a massive amount of data. Interconnectivity, so everything talks to everything. My iPhone talks to everything, and you can now share information up and down the supply chain. Cloud computing allows us to do a whole range of things you couldn't do before, and that data and interconnectivity is going to drive things. Provenance, the consumer wants to have a better connection with the suppliers of their food. We need to pick up on some of the trends around wellness and health and all those sorts of things and build really good stories. We've got great stories to tell about our farms and what we do, and we need to build those stories because people want to connect with you and they want to understand that. And lastly, urban consumer. So Australia's one of the most urbanised countries in the world. We've got more and more people now starting to live in our urban communities. They have small living spaces, limited storage, limited refrigeration, so they don't need to buy 5 kilograms of potatoes from us anymore. They want to buy 1 potato at a time and 2 potatoes at a time. And we can need to start thinking about how we're going to service our urban consumers to give them the things that they need. So how do we take advantage of these? I sort of look at things and say we need a high-performance business model. And for me, high-performance business models are about having a business that is highly profitable. Because if you're profitable, you can do lots of smart things with it. And the level of profitability that I get my clients to aim for is to retain 20% of our sales as profit, and 30% if we can. Net profit, not gross profit. And many people say to me that's not possible. Well, I hate to tell you, but it is possible, but it's not possible doing what you've always done before. So we're going to have to do some different things to be able to do that. The model I like here is this model. I've stolen it from a guy called Vern Harnish. And he talks about a couple of things. The left-hand side of the model is about doing the right things. Yeah? And he says basically that we need to have a clear strategy, and that's probably an area where I find we're lacking in most business. We need to look at shareholders, and I'll come back to this stuff in a minute. So we need to understand our shareholders, we need to understand our people, our employees, and a lot of that's around communication. The right-hand side of the model is about doing things right, and that's where we tend to focus most of our effort because it's the tangible stuff we can get our fingers into and we can really get stuck into. That's about sales and marketing, about finance, administration systems, and it's about delivery, it's about operations, about how we grow product and deliver it and do all that sort of stuff. Let's talk a little about shareholders and stakeholders. So what I find here is that it's about ownership, and that about ownership is probably the problem because we think we have to own lots of things in Australia. Whereas if you travel around the world and talk to growers in different places in the world, they don't feel the need to own all their farms and stuff. I met farmers in America that farmed 20,000 acres of country and owned 640 of it. They leased everything and rented everything. And it's about using other people's money for leverage. Yeah? So I think there's some stuff we need to do around that. And it's about access to capital, resources and expertise. So think about the people in your business And if you've got family businesses and stuff, who's putting the expertise in there? Who's helping you with the strategic thinking and driving where you're going? So think clearly about who are the people engaged in your business, and think clearly about how can we leverage other people's money to get us leverage around what we're doing in our business. Employees, absolutely critical. You've got to have the right people on the bus. Yeah? You've got to have good people. And in this sort of VUCA environment where it's rapidly changing, volatile stuff, it's even more important that we have really good people. And those people need to be adaptable. Hanging on to them, finding them and hanging on to them is going to get harder and harder and harder because they're a rare commodity. So one of the things we need to be thinking about then is what are our attraction, retention, development programs for our people? Yeah? If we're going to get good quality people, how do we hang on to them and don't pass them on to somebody else? When I'm talking marketing, I'm talking sort of big M marketing. So I'm not talking about putting labels and logos on boxes. I'm talking about the highly strategic process of saying, okay, who's our target market? What products and services do they demand from us? What are the price points that we can deliver that at? How do we deliver that product and distribute that? So what's our distribution mechanism for getting that product to them? And then lastly, how do we then promote it and get the message out to them that we're available in there? And I find that lots of people sort of skip those steps and we go back to the sort of target market and start thinking about what they really want. And it gets to this question of what's our competitive advantage. So why should I buy your product? Why does it stand out in the marketplace? Why should I buy your fruit or your produce over somebody else's? Yeah? And often people can't tell me why I should bother. And therefore, guess what the common denominator is? Price. So we've got to think about differentiating our business. And strategy is hard because it's about doing something different and not necessarily doing the same stuff. So some examples of this sort of stuff where I've been working with clients and we've started to apply different strategies in our business. So one client, we've analysed the market and we found that at different times of the year there's a price premium and there's little competition in the marketplace and pretty much we can sell however much product we've got at a premium price at that point. So what we've done is actually identify that, but then we've changed our operational program. So we've actually got our variety strategy right, so we've looked at our varieties and we've carved our varieties back. We've done a whole heap of work around getting our processes right so that our fruit ripens at those times and we move things around. We've looked at our processing capability, our marketing capability, our harvest and picking capability, so we can create a fruit storm. And that's the term that we use. We talk about the fruit storm every year. We've got 2 fruit storms. And we set up a business like that. We get a premium in the marketplace and this business is one of those businesses that's doing the 20 or 30% return profit sort of stuff. Got another client where we've identified that for a particular variety, we always get a premium for a particular size. So what we've done then is change our whole agronomic processes and our marketing and stuff again so that we actually produce a hell of a lot more of that stuff, of that variety and that particular size. So our yields per hectare aren't any more than what our neighbours are, but it's what we're doing with that yield. So we've got much bigger fruit and we're doing lots of different things with it. I've got another client, we're doing home delivery. So we've worked out that consumers will actually pay a premium for a high quality product in small, digestible packs that we can deliver to their home and they get it straight from the farmer so they feel better about it and everything else. So there's a great little niche market in there around home delivery for that person. I've got other clients where we're looking at scale. We sat down and we worked out and we said, what's our strategy going to be? And we said we want to run a business that works like this and operates like this, but unless we were at efficient scale, we simply don't have the size of the business to give us long lines of fruit, annual supply, be able to use the right technology, the right people, employ our own agronomist, all those sorts of things. So what we've done is lease country, rent country, buy country, do different things. We've looked at processing plants, done a whole range of things so that we can actually get the scale where that all makes sense. Yeah? And it's been a reasonable program, but it's worked really, really well. Value adding, I hear a lot about value adding, particularly around products and stuff. And I find it's really interesting. Everybody talks about value adding, but everybody's value adding is at one end of the spectrum you've got fresh strawberries and the other end you've got strawberry jam. Well, there's a lot of other things in between. And too often we don't think about those. And when you look around, I sort of identified sort of 6 key sort of layers, if you like, for value adding in different horticultural products. Some of them you use in combination with others. But if you start at the bottom with experience and move to the top, which is sort of transformational, as you go up there, you tend to increase the value, so you have much higher value. Cost goes up, of course, because you're adding costs and inputs to transform things. There's more complexity in your business, so your business becomes another layer of complexity or another layer or two of complexity above where it is now, but there's less competition, less focus on price, all those sorts of things. So I'm going to give you some examples of some of the sort of stuff. So down the bottom here where you're experiential, so value adding can just be changing the experience. So that can be things like pick your own, home delivery, shed door sales, all that sort of stuff. The wine industry thrives on shed door sales. The margins you pick up from some of this direct stuff can more than compensate you for the volumes you pull out. Companion products. So can you match it up with other products that might work well? Packaging. You can just package things differently. There's a fantastic example out of the United States where they took baby carrots. So there's little baby carrots. They put them in chip packets that you normally sell Arnott's chips in. They put them in chip packets and sell them to the kids as snack food. Absolutely brilliant. It's a $500 million industry. Yeah. Because they just decided they were going to sell them as a health food. If they sold them as health food, nobody would buy them. If they sold them as snack food, they can't make enough of them. Quality is a really interesting one. You can either go extremely high quality, you can actually go low quality or somewhere else. And clients of mine recently, we've been talking directly with the client and finding out how they use our product. And this is a small supermarket chain. We found they were buying our high quality Australian product and blending it with lower quality product to be able to get a price point that they could sell to their supplier, to their consumers. So we said, why don't we just sell you a mixed blended product? And they went, how can you do that? We only thought you had really high premium stuff. So everybody wins. Yeah? So it suits us, suits them. So think about quality in different ways. Processing, everybody gets processing, but you can wash, you can peel, you can do different things. And then the last one is that transformational stuff, and a great example of that is Troy DePoli's pressure pack avocados. So it's avocado that he's transformed into another product. It's got a great shelf life. You can keep it in your fridge, spread it on your stuff. It comes in a tube. It's a great thing. So there's lots of different ways we can value add. All right. So think about what you can do differently, and identify what are some of the value adding opportunities for you. Now, a couple of caveats. It's not for everybody. So it takes a lot of effort, and it actually takes a bit of nous, and it takes some strategy and some thinking and some process to do it. It requires quite an investment in time and energy to get it up and away off the ground, and lots of people just aren't prepared to do that. Sometimes it's only a small proportion of your product, but what I found sometimes with clients is we pull 20% out, value add to it. The margin on that makes up it's more than 80% of our profit. Okay, so sometimes it's worth doing. And the last thing is you're going to have to kiss a few frogs, okay, to find your prince. So, you're going to go down some rabbit holes, you're going to find some dead ends, you're going to find some things that don't work, and you're going to have to be persistent if you're going to pull it off. All right, so it's not for everybody. So if we go to the other side of the equation, so that side was all about strategy and thinking and planning. This side is the side, as I said, it's the side about doing things right. And it's where we spend most of our time in business. And I'll quickly go through sort of the key areas. Sales and marketing, we need to be efficient and productive in these things. And it's about thinking about how we're going to promote our product and how we're going to take it to market and how we're going to sell it. Now, you might continue to use an agent, you might to go direct, but you need to take responsibility for it. And instead of just palming it off to someone and saying, I'm going to sell that and then complaining about the price, we need to be a bit more involved and a bit more engaged. So I've got clients who are quite heavily, still use agents a lot, but we're quite heavily involved in the sales and marketing process, particularly about building long-term relationships with clients, because we're the enduring aspect of that. Yeah. So we want to own some of those relationships. And we want to collaborate with our agents and get them doing what we want them to do. It's also about things like provenance, about creating a great story around your business and what you do. And people want to hear your story. Finance and admin systems, you could spend an hour talking just about this. There's a whole heap of innovation in this space at the moment that's going to allow you to share information. So if you use tools like Xero for your accounting, Unleashed for inventory management, a whole heap of those tools, you can get a real economies of scale around what you're doing in your finance and administration sector. You can outsource parts of your business you could never outsource before. Operations is the big one. So we spent a lot of time here, but your effort can be wasted if it's not in alignment with your strategy. So think about the 5 sort of trends that I talked about and how you might apply them to get some leverage in your business. All right, so think about how you can do this stuff, because the future's coming fast, it's changing quickly, the technology's there. How can we take advantage of it to really leverage our business up?